Sooty and Co. Everybody say hello! There's Sooty and Sweep, a panda called Sue, and little cousin Scampy too. There'll be fun galore with the terrible four. Just you wait and see. It's Sooty and Company. Sooty and Company.
Well, I'll tell you something, Sooty. I couldn't sleep last night. Oh, hello there. I was just talking to Sooty about this book that Sue lent me last week. It's called Scary Stories. And some of them are pretty scary, too. What? They wouldn't frighten you? No? Why is that, then? Because you're brave? Yeah, and modest, too. Well, there's one in here that I bet would frighten the life out of you. It's called The Blob That Crawls. Now, imagine a green blob of jelly that slithers along like a great big slug. And it eats people. And the only way that you know that it's going to attack you is when you hear the dreadful sort of scraping noise that it makes when it's just... Shh. Shh. Listen. That's the noise. That's the scraping noise. The blob that crawls is coming to get us, Sooty. Here. It's outside the door. It's coming in the door. It's going to get us. The blob that crawls. Sooty. Sooty, the... How do you like that? He's gone. He said he was brave, but actually he's terrified. Mind you, it is a pretty terrifying noise, isn't it? The noise of me scraping a ruler on the desk. What a brave little bear.
You're not frightened by stories? Never? Well, I think there were some stories in the book that would have frightened you, Sweep. There was one called The Blob That Crawls. Imagine a huge blob of jelly that slithers along like a giant slug and eats people. And the first sign that it's about to get you is when you feel it tapping you on the head with its deathly feeding probe. A feeding probe? Oh, such a brave dog. Fancy being afraid of little cousin Scampy holding a drinking straw.
Is everybody okay?
Are you sure you wouldn't like a feeding probe to drink your milk?
Oh, now that's enough of that, Sue. Enough.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew, but I just think it's so funny. These two boys are always claiming to be big and brave, but the truth is they're both scaredy cats.
You're not? Well, in that case, tell me something. You've had that beautiful camper van of yours for quite some time, and you've never actually spent one night sleeping in it. Now, why is that?
That's because they're scaredy cats, Matthew. They're too frightened to spend the night sleeping in the camper.
You're not? What, Sooty? Oh, really? Apparently, Sue, they'd planned to spend tonight sleeping in the camper van.
Oh, well, well, what a coincidence. I bet you daren't.
Really? What? Oh, Sooty accepts your bet, Sue. Well, in that case, my brave boys, perhaps after breakfast you can go and choose which bunk you're going to sleep in. You should enjoy sleeping in the camper tonight because it's going to be very dark. There's no moon. As a matter of fact, it's going to be pitch black. So Sooty and Sweep have made a bet with Sue. She says that they won't dare spend a night sleeping in the camper van, and they bet that they will. So now they have to choose which bed they're going to sleep in. I think I'll take this one, says Sooty. I was going to choose that one, says Sweep. Oh, all right then, says Sooty. You have the one on top. I'll have this one. This one's softer anyway. Is it? Asked Sweep. In that case, I'll sleep here. I thought you wanted to sleep up there, says Sooty. I've changed my mind, says Sweep. I wish you'd stop changing your mind, says Sooty. You're actually going to do it then? So poor old Sue's going to lose her bet? You're really going to spend a whole night sleeping outside in the camper van? What? You're looking forward to it? It's going to be great fun. Well, good on you. Go on and off you go. Bye. Oh, come back, come back. Don't forget, watch out for the blob that crawls. You know, it's a curious thing, but when people are about to set out on a frightening journey, they suddenly become extremely kind and generous towards the people around them. Look at what's happening here, for example. Sooty is actually giving Scampy his water pistol. And Sweep is presenting Scampy with his favourite bone. Look at this. Sooty is giving Scampy his bag of jelly babies. And not to be outdone, Sweep is giving him a boxed fruit drink. Oh, Sooty's decided to give his favourite little cousin his old Boy Scout compass. And as a final grand gesture, Sweep presents him with his precious binoculars. We're going on a journey now, they tell the puzzled little Scampy. We may be gone for some time. And with that, Sooty and Sweep leave to find Sue, so they can say their final goodbyes.
So you're actually going to do it then? Well, I take my hat off to you. You are brave after all. Now, have you got everything you need? Have you played What If? What's that? Well, Sweep, What If is a sort of game. It's just a way of making sure you've got everything you need. What you do is ask questions like what if? What if there are wild animals and scary things out there? Do you have anything to protect yourselves with? Okay, Sweep, another example of what if is, say the camper broke down and you were stranded without food. Do you have any spare supplies of food with you? Well, it's quite simple, Sooty. Like I said to Sweep, what if you were stranded without food and you happen not to like bones, for example? Do you have some food that you could live on? Okay, so you've got all the food in the world, Sweep. But what if you've got nothing to drink? You could die of thirst, couldn't you? What if you break down in the middle of a desert, Sooty, and you don't know which direction to start walking in? What if that happens? Have you got anything that'll help you under those conditions? OK, Sweep. So what if you're stranded on this desert island? How would you spot the ships out there on the sea? Have you thought about that? Not really? Well, think, Sweep. What if that happens?
Look at that. Lunchtime already. Well, it looks as if Sue's going to lose her little bet. Sooty and Sweep should be miles away by now. I wonder if they've found anywhere nice to have their lunch. Ah! What are you two doing here? You should be miles away. What are you doing? Having lunch? Just in case? Just in case of what? In case you get stuck on a desert island? With no food? And no drink? What's it? And no binoculars? And there they were with these huge platefuls, Sue. Anyway, that was over an hour ago, and they said they were leaving as soon as they'd finished.
Oh, Matthew, you're so naive. They still haven't left.
What?
Don't you know that all they're doing is stalling for time? The fact is, I was right. They're scared stiff. That's why they're still here.
But, Sue, I had no idea that they were still here. Whereabouts are they?
Try your bedroom, Matthew.
My bedroom. Right, you stay there. Excuse me. My bedroom. Boo! Come on, my brave little friend. So, still here, eh? What? You just studying the maps? Ah, yes, well, that's very sensible, of course, but maps of Istanbul? You know what? I think that Sue's right. I think that you are too frightened to spend the night in the camper van. Certainly not. What? You're just about to set off? Immediately? Straight away? Oh, well, perhaps I have misjudged them. I mean, perhaps they're not frightened after all. But it certainly seems as if now they are on their way. As soon as they've washed the camper van. Well, it seems as if at long last they're actually going to go. I mean, after all, they have chosen their bunks, they've had their lunch, they've checked their provisions, they've cleaned the camper van, I've cleared up all the soap suds, and now they're leaving. You know something, boys? I never thought you would actually ever get round to doing it. Why not? Well, because after all, it takes real courage to do what you're doing up now. I wouldn't like to do it, would you, Sue?
Oh, no, Matthew. I am proud to lose my bet to you boys. I wouldn't dare spend a night out there, alone in the dark, listening to all those spooky noises. Would you, Scampy?
No, neither would I, especially after reading The Blob That Crawls.
Ooh.
Anyway, you're the brave one, so off you go. Go on, go on. You can't? Why on earth not? You haven't got the keys?
Oh, don't worry, Sooty. Scampy's found the keys.
Has he? Oh, let me take them, Scampy. Well, that's lucky. Where did you find the Scampy?
Stuffed down the back of the settee, Matthew.
It's a good job that you found them. Otherwise, the whole journey would have had to be called off. Still, there we go. You got them now, so off you go. Go on, go on, go on. You can't? Why not? Flat tyre. Oh, of course, I forgot. The camper van got a flat tyre last week. So it's a good job I had it mended yesterday, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it? So now all that remains is for me to wish you two a bon voyage. Sue and Scampy, go and stand in a safe place over there. Go on, off you go. Right then, Sooty. Right, Sweep, off you go. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice time. Bye. They've got. So at long last, the two brave boys were off to start their adventure. All they needed was a place to park for the night. What do you think about this place? Asked Sooty. I don't think so, said Sweep. Too quiet and deserted. Let's find somewhere else. What about here then? Asked Sooty. No, this isn't right either. Look at all the people. We'd never get any sleep. Here? Says Sooty. No, I don't think so, says Sweep. I don't think Matthew would be too happy with us this close to the water. It'll be getting dark soon, says Sooty. But don't worry, I've just thought of the perfect place. Here we are, says Sooty. The bet was that we would spend a night in the camper. No one actually said whereabouts the camper had to be. You know, Scampy, that was touch and go, that was. For a minute, I thought that Sue was actually going to win her bet. I thought that Sooty and Sweep were too frightened. But it seems they've actually done it. I wonder if they found somewhere nice to park up.
Oh, they have found somewhere nice to park, Matthew.
How do you know, Sue?
Because, Matthew, they're back.
What? I cannot believe it is them!
I told you, Matthew, and I told you why, too. Because Sooty and Sweep are both scaredy cats.
Yeah, well, that's as maybe, Sue, but I still reckon it's going to be you that loses a bet because no one said where they actually had to spend the night.
You mean to lose the bet? They actually have to leave the camper?
Well, that's the way I see it, Sue. What, Scampy? You've got some work to do? And so it was that Sooty and Sweep started their big night out. All they had to do was to stay in the camper until the morning. If they did, they would win the bet. But if they didn't, they would lose the bet. And do you know something? I think they would have won it if it hadn't been for little cousin Scampy. What was that? asked Sweep. What was what? says Sooty. That noise, says Sweep. I didn't hear any noise, says Sooty. Go to sleep. There it is again, says Sweep. Oh, that noise, says Sooty. That's just an owl, Sweep. Go to sleep. Are you sure it's an owl? asked Sweep. Of course I am, says Sooty. Anybody knows an owl hoot, and that was an owl hoot. Now, lie down. That, on the other hand, was definitely not an owl hoot, says Sooty. And neither was that. And neither was that. It's probably only Derek, says Sweep. Oh, you're right, says Sooty. It's probably our mate Derek the duck. I don't know why we're so nervous. We should relax. Otherwise, we'll both go cuckoo. Now this is ridiculous, says Sooty. I'm not afraid of a few silly birds. Let's forget about the owls, let's forget about the ducks, and let's forget about the cuckoos. We have to stay out here to win the bet. And I don't care if there's a hurricane. Nothing will make me leave this camper tonight. Well, they were brave words indeed from Sooty. But I'm afraid that neither Sooty nor Sweep had bargained for what happened next. You know, it's amazing some of the weird effects you can get if you play a recording very, very slowly and backwards. And it's amazing the results these effects can have, even on the bravest of folks. Come on, you two. Come on, Sweet. Come on, Sooty. Look, just relax. Relax. There's nothing at all to worry about. You're absolutely fine. You lost the bet. Well, yes, I'm afraid you scored very low points there, Sooty, but you did score a lot of points for trying very hard. There was a terrible noise. Well, yes, there was, actually. You think it was the blob that crawls? No, it wasn't the blob that crawls. Actually, I want you and you, Sweep, to come downstairs with me because Sue and little cousin Scampy have got something to tell you, some explaining to do. As a matter of fact, they played a trick on you two. Oh, and by the way, this lot out here, they don't need an explanation because they were in on it. Anyway, before you come downstairs, say goodbye to everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Come on, downstairs. Sweet.